everybody, Remrov here. I'm a classic artist who makes these videos to educate about autism and to build a bridge in between the autistic and neurotypical world, and I hope to be a voice for non-verbal people with autism. In this video I want to talk more about stimming. Many kids and people with autism, they stim, some more than others though. So what is stimming exactly? Stimming is a self-stimulatory behaviour, like the repetition of physical movements or sound, or the movements of certain objects, or flapping arms and hands, or rocking back and forth, or the repetition of words and phrases. Those are the most common ones. But there are also other forms of stimming. For example, the touching of the surface of a certain object, or visual kind of stimming, like looking at sparkly lights or shiny objects. So why do we stim? We stim to deal with our emotions and feelings, but also to handle overwhelming sensory inputs. There are actually three different reasons to stim. And the first one is to express ourselves. To express happiness or excitement or anxiety or fear, for example. I often flap my arms in my hands when I'm happy or excited about something. But I also do this when I'm nervous. But you can tell the difference then, though. When I'm happy and I flap my arms and hands out of excitement, then I often smile and I jump up and down and I make happy sounds. But when I flap my arms and hands when I'm nervous, I'm not smiling and I'm also not making happy sounds. And it's also a more tense kind of hand flapping. My body is more tensed when I'm nervous. So why do I stim when I have these emotions? When I feel certain feelings, it gets too much for me to express with words. So then there's this buildup of energy inside of myself and it needs to get out. So then I need to stim. Another reason to stim is to self-regulate, to cope with sensory issues, for example, and with overwhelming sensory input. Many people and kids with autism, they are, for example, extremely sensitive to sounds or for bright lights, and it can really hurt our eyes, and sounds can really hurt our ears. So then we stim in order to block that negative or bad or painful input, to replace it with a positive and good input, like rocking ourselves back and forth. It feels really good. Personally, it doesn't help much for me when I have like really painful sounds around me. Then rocking back and forth just by itself doesn't help me. I have to cover my ears to block out the sound, or I have to just leave the room. When I'm covering my ears, when I can't leave, and then I cover my ears to block out the sound, and then on top of that, rocking myself back and forth helps to calm myself down. Stimming also does help me when I'm nervous, when I'm waiting for something, like waiting at the dentist's office. Then it helps me to rock back and forth to make myself feel calm. Or when I'm waiting for the bus or the metro. I find waiting always extremely unpredictable because you don't really know when the bus or the metro is gonna arrive exactly. So in order to block out the feeling of that unpredictability, I find it helpful to rock myself back and forth. And on top of that, it also really helps to listen to music. and rock myself back and forth on the rhythm of the music. Watching movies over and over, the same movies over and over, is actually also a kind of stimming. Many kids and adults with autism, they love to watch the same movies over and over, and I do too. And it's to block out unpredictability. Actually, our whole world is quite unpredictable and constantly changing. So for me, it really helps to just watch a movie that I've seen so many times before already. It's familiar, I know what's going to happen, so that really helps me to ground myself and to get myself ready to face the chaotic outside world again. Another reason, the third reason to stim, is sensory seeking. Everybody actually does this. It's sensory seeking. Think about the enjoyment of good food in restaurants or listening to good music. But people with autism take it actually to the next level, and it works a bit more extreme with people with autism. When I'm listening to music, I feel like really good inside. And when I'm walking on the streets, I'm listening to my MP3 player with classical music, and then I just have to play conductor on the streets, and I just feel really good. I really get into this certain zone of good feelings, and another thing that I really love and that I'm really fascinated by, and also a form of stimming, is looking at sparkly lights. I just can't get enough of it. I love sparkly lights. I love everything sparkly and shiny. It just makes me feel very safe and fuzzy. Another example, when I still lived in the Netherlands, I immigrated to Canada in 2013. Before that, I lived my whole life in the Netherlands. And my mom and I sometimes used to go to the theater. And I always loved the chairs which they had in the theater. They had this beautiful dark red shiny velvet fabric, and I love to touch this fabric with my hands and rub my hand over it, and I love the feeling of it. And I also liked it that if you rubbed it in one direction, in a certain direction, then the tiny hairs of the fabric would go up, and then the fabric was a lot darker red. And when you rubbed it in the other direction, the hairs would go down, and then the fabric looked a lot lighter. I just always found it extremely fascinating. So that is definitely a kind of sensory seeking stimming. And besides, I also love to touch certain smooth, round surfaces of objects. That feels really good to me too. Stimming should not be discouraged, because it really helps us to deal with things and with our emotions and with our feelings and with society and with sensory issues, and to express ourselves. The choice is actually being a happy person and being able to cope with things, versus looking normal. And personally, I find the first one more important, to be happy and to be able to deal with things and to be able to manage myself. I can pretend to look normal, but and to suppress my stimming, but that just drains all my energy, and I won't be able to keep up with it very long anyway. Stimming is a natural way of moving and our being, and it would just take everything out of it to stop that or to suppress that. We have autism, and that's just the way it is, and it can be cured. So it's just better to accept that than to deny it, because if you accept it and you try to live your life according to that, then you're just gonna be a lot happier. You're gonna lead a lot happier life. They're actually parents of autistic kids, and they're wondering. They see their autistic child constantly turning the lights on and off for hours, or playing with one toy car, spinning the wheels of the toy car while looking at it, and they wonder if they should make their child stop doing that or make him interested in other things. And I think just, yeah, let him do that. If he's not hurting himself or hurting others, or breaking things, then there's no reason to stop him. It's him or her. It's his reason. It's his way of to have a good time and to enjoy himself. And so, yeah, the only reason to stop him would be to make him look normal to the outside world. And yeah, that's just not a good reason. If other people have problems with his behavior or problems with autistic behavior, then it's actually their problem, and not not of that autistic kid or their parents. It should just be accepted. So this was it. I hope you found it useful. And if you have any questions, just comment in the below this video, or send me a message. You can consider to subscribe to my YouTube channel to stay updated about my new videos. You can also consider to become my patron on Patreon. For $1 a month, you can watch all my videos, patron only material. And you also really support me with this project if you become my patron. So that was it. Pilaf and I wish you a very nice day. And we hope to see you with our next videos again. Bye!